Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Ol'SargeCollects. This is Dan, and this is the final video of my top 100 cards in my collection. Now, remember, these cards are based off of what I consider my favorite cards and not based off of monetary value. So I did make a mistake, though, and in my first video, I shared 51 cards with you, not 50, which offset my last video and will offset this video. I shared with you 25 cards in my last video, and unfortunately, in this video, I'll only be sharing my top 24 cards. And I didn't realize this until I was prepping for this video that I had made that mistake. But you're still seeing my top 24 cards in my collection. And so I'm going to go ahead and dive into this. The very first card I'm going to share with you is this 1955 Jackie Robinson. Now, this particular card, while yes is in my top 25, it's the image, it's what the card represents, not this card in particular. This card in particular, in my opinion, needs to be upgraded. I bought this early on, and before I refined my my collecting preferences. And so this no longer fits what I would collect. I definitely want to upgrade this card at some point, but it's what the card represents. It's the beauty of this card. I mean, I love this card. This is probably my favorite Jackie Robinson card. And I've had the 1950 card before in the past, and that's a beautiful card. I've never had his 49 Bowman, and I absolutely love the 49 Bowman. So once I obtain that card, that will probably be my favorite card, Jackie card. But until then, this is my favorite Jackie card, and so I will upgrade this at some point. Anyway, here's the back. All right, so card number 23. Have you ever heard of Josephine Baker? So just to kind of give you some cliff notes on Josephine Baker. Josephine Baker was a black woman born in the South. She, was born in the 1910s and was raised in the Deep South during segregation and, obviously bigotry. And she became an entertainer. She became a dancer, and later on she became a movie star and singer. And she moved to France, where she moved to Paris, France, where she was more welcomed. There was no segregation, and she refused to perform in the United States for a long time, based off of the segregation that she was facing. And then during Nazi-occupied Europe, during the French resistance, she ended up becoming a spy for the French as she traveled around Europe and with the inner circles of the German, army and the Nazi party. She began to spy for the French resistance. Later on, she also took in refugees, Jewish refugees that were trying to leave Europe. And so, and then after Martin Luther King was assassinated, she was asked to take up the mantle for civil rights. She declined that, and she was adopting a bunch of kids, and she didn't want them to lose their mother, so she declined, and then she passed away not long after that. So really awesome, amazing story. This is just such a beautiful card. She was absolutely a beautiful woman, and just love this card. This is a 1937 editorial Bruguera. This is actually a rare card, and this is the only card of Josephine Baker in this set that has been graded. So just a beautiful, beautiful example of this card. All right, the next card is kind of sentimental to me. This is a 1910 Old Mill Cigarettes T210. This is from Series 8, and this is Brooks. The player's last name is Brooks. Now, that's the same last name as mine, and I live in New Orleans, and this player played for New Orleans, and so, for those two ties, it's sentimental. But also, Brooks was teammates with Shoeless Joe Jackson while Shoeless Joe was playing for the New Orleans Pelicans. So this is probably the closest I'll ever get to having a Shoeless Joe Jackson rookie card. All right, the next card is a Playing Days card of Babe Ruth, although it's not a U.S. card. This is a British tobacco card from 1929 Churchman Cigarettes. It is a cheaper and easily obtainable card. It's blown up in value since I picked it up, but nonetheless, it's still Playing Days Babe Ruth. And Babe Ruth is my all-time. I think he's my all-time favorite player. So, anyway, love this card still because of the image. Though, I want to get the postcard size that has Japanese writing on it. All right, card number 20 is this 1888. Duke and Sons N76 Great Americans George Washington card. I bought this card raw and sent it in for grading. Love this card. It is definitely blown up in value, and I was happy to pick it up when I did. I got into non-sports when non-sports, wasn't as cool as it is now. Next card is this 1901 Will's Cigarettes Sports of All Nations. And this is representing America and the sport of baseball. This is from a 50-card set. And I love this set. This set, in and of itself, is an amazing, beautiful set. And so, I have the whole set. And this is the only card in the set I have graded. I love the backs of these, that intricate back. Just awesome. All right, next card is another Babe Ruth card, not Playing Days, though. This is the 1954 Top Scoop. One of the most beautiful cards ever designed, in my opinion. Just love that artistry, love that image. I think if I had Scott Reindeer Studios do a marker doodle of Babe Ruth, it would be in this likeness. Just awesome image. And there you have the back image. This is when Babe hit his 60th home run. Next card is my oldest card in my collection. This is a 1878 Huntley and Palmer's Biscuits card of the sport of baseball. Just a beautiful design of a 1800s image of baseball. And this is a British biscuit company. And I first learned about this card from John Mangini. Next card is one of my favorite George Washington cards. And this was a recent acquisition in 2024. This is an 1880s Wimmert card. It's a French card. This one is of George Washington. I absolutely love that image. This thing is basically, this could be a painting hanging on my wall. Love that image, him leaning against the cannon and all that. Just a beautiful image. Here's the back. All in French, don't understand it. Next card is probably my wife's favorite card. She's a social studies teacher. This is a 1909 Wolf and Company trade card of the drafting of the Declaration of Independence. Just such a beautiful image. I love history, so this is right up my alley. And the good news is it's written in English on the back, so it provides a good read. All right, I've lost count. I don't know what number we're at, but the next card is this 1954 Johnston Cookies Hank Aaron card. So this card and the next card are kind of tied for whatever number this is. I don't really know whether I like this one or this one better. So, tell me in the comments which one you like better. Do you like his Topps rookie card or his Johnston Cookies rookie card? Either card to me is just a work of art. It's so iconic in the hobby. I love Hank Aaron and his accomplishments. So here are the backs of each card. All right. Next card is my only Cracker Jack card. This is from 1915, but this is one of my favorite images on a Cracker Jack card. This is of Fred Clark. I love that he's sitting on his bat. I used to do that when I was a kid, when I was playing ball. And so it just brings back some memories, but just an awesome image. And there we go. I always get mixed up which side is which, but the reason why it got the low grade that it did is because it's got some paper loss on the corner there. Either way, beautiful card. Next card is another Playing Days Babe Ruth card, but it's the Sanella, 1932 Sanella. A lot of people dog this card, but honestly, I like the image. Even though you can't really see his face, I still like the image. This is a Type 2. There's a Type 1 and a Type 2. Same image, just has to do with the writing on the back. So, and it's all in German, by the way. All right. Next card is my T205 Ty Cobb. This is card number 10, by the way. So we are down to my top 10 in my collection, starting with this T205 Ty Cobb. I've had this card for a long time now. And the next card is this 1887 Allen and Ginter N9 Flags of All Nations set. And this one is of the United States. Just such a beautiful patriotic image there. The back is really roached out on this one, but the front is gorgeous. Good centering, good quality image on the front, no paper loss on the front. Good reflection from that gold, foil. Just love it. And the next card is my favorite all-time non-sports card, and that is the 1888 Allen and Ginter N33 World Smokers set. This is of the Old Planter. This card, represents, in my opinion, all tobacco cards. And the reason why is because this is the face of Allen and Ginter. Following the issue of this card, Allen and Ginter started using this image of the Old Planter as the icon of Allen and Ginter, and even today, this is used to represent Allen and Ginter, this image. And so, to me, all tobacco cards in the U.S., all tobacco cards are kind of summed up within this, this image, this card right here. Since Allen and Ginter, in my opinion, was kind of the catalyst, the start of the tobacco era. So, I love this card. Here's the back. All right, the next two cards are a combo deal. I don't really know which one I like better. I like both of these cards, a lot. So we're going to go with the 1954 Bowman Willie Mays. I love the 1954 Bowman Willie Mays, but I equally love the 1953 Topps Willie Mays. And I just can't decide which I like better. You guys let me know which one you like better. I have no idea which one I would choose if I had to. Both of them are just such beautiful images of an iconic player. And here's the back of these. All right, one last look at the front. Beautiful, beautiful images. Same thing applies here with these next two cards. I don't know which I like better. Do I like the 53 Topps Mickey Mantle, which I do plan on upgrading at some point? Or do I like this 1954 Red Heart Mickey Mantle, which I don't need to upgrade. This thing is gorgeous. So which do you like better? I know that, there's a lot of Mantle collectors out there, and there's a lot of folks out there that, would have an opinion on this one. I think that the 54 Red Heart is just the epitome of a 1950s card. And then, this 53 Topps is just so iconic and such a beautiful artistic card. So you guys tell me, which one do you like better? I cannot decide. Here's the backs. When it comes to the back of the cards, I like the 53 better than the 54. So, all right. Getting down to my final three cards in my collection. This 1948-49 Leaf Babe Ruth is my number 3 card. Love this. I've wanted this card since I was a kid. I lucked out when I found this card with the centering, with the image quality. Man, I was so excited when I got this card. Still am excited about it. I love this card. Here's the back. Such a beautiful card. Card number 2 in my collection is this 1880s. This is a rare card, y'all. These next two cards are like super rare. This is an 1880s American Eagle Tobacco trade card, and there's only been 3 copies of this card that have popped up on eBay in the last 6 years, and this is one of them. And I picked this up raw and sent it in for grading. Absolutely love this card. So happy to have this card in my collection. The back is kind of roached out. There was a copy that recently sold that I think was in better condition. But I love this card nonetheless. This card is such a beautiful card that represents the very beginning of the sport and the hobby. This is, dates back to before there was an American League. So just awesome. And my top card in my collection, number 1 favorite card, the epitome of the hobby for me, and everything that the hobby represents, and why I collect and what I collect, is this 1888 Little Rhodey cut plug. This is from the N557 National Sports Set. This one represents America. So let me tell you why I love this card, and why this is the perfect card for me. So first off, it's baseball. And my first passion for the hobby is baseball. But it falls into the non-sport category when you look it up. And this is a set that talks about multiple different sports from different countries. And so it's a multi-sport set. It has, I think it's a 25 card set. This is the only card representing America in the set. And then also it's patriotic. I mean, she's in Stars and Stripes. So this is Columbia. This image right here is Columbia. As the image of Columbia was so popular back in the 80s and 1800s. And so this is just Columbia in a baseball uniform. And it's just so beautiful. So it's got a historic sense to it. So it's got the history tie, the baseball tie. It's tied to both sports and non-sports. It's just a beautiful, beautiful card. Here's the back of it. It's difficult to get a high grade in this card because of that all black back, kind of like the 71 tops. And this is the highest graded copy out of any grading company. And this is probably the most I've spent on a card ever. And I did buy this raw and sent it in for grading. So the most I've ever spent on a raw card for sure. But it's hard to place a value on this card because it's the highest graded copy. And it's a rare card. You don't see this card a lot. I mean, I've only seen maybe 3 or 4 examples of this card pop up in 6 years. So anyway, beautiful, beautiful card. I think there's only 6 examples, 5 or 6 examples that have been graded between all the different companies. So just a rare card, naturally rare card. Anyway, this is my favorite card in my collection. Beautiful image. And it represents the entire hobby for me. All right, well, that pretty much concludes my top 100. I hope you guys have enjoyed this series, and keep hunting the good stuff. It's all good stuff. Whatever you consider is good stuff, that's what you got to keep hunting, is the good stuff. Don't let anybody tell you what your good stuff is. Just keep on hunting what you consider good. And take care, y'all.